Guys, so I had some thoughts on wall sides that I wanted to go over. We went over straight wall sides a few days ago, and my thoughts were relatively similar regarding this regular wall side. So we call these wall sides upward rotation and liftoff, but they're a little bit different than the straight wall side. The underlying principles are the same. So we're basically trying to move our shoulder blades out and around the rib cage without using our lower back to do so. So we're trying to lift our arms overhead without any compensation. And that's difficult for a lot of people that don't have full shoulder flexion or lack range of motion in other areas. So we're always going to start with our feet staggered, like to go right leg forward, left leg back. You don't want to be too close, you don't want to be too far, just a nice even base. And you also don't want to have your feet too far spread apart, right? Because that puts you all your weight backwards, right? You want to have the weight like right in the middle of your feet. If I ask you to jump, you'd be able to jump from that position. And the second thing we want to think about is for those who are almost stuck with that big chest position, we want to think about, just like we started with those straight wall sides, we want to think about flexing or getting those shoulder blades to wrap around the rib cage. So I'm going to show you what a good wall side will look like. So with our straight wall sides, we like to keep our elbows bent. With the regular wall sides, we're going to actually straighten our elbows out and try to reach as high as we can. And then at the top, there's going to be a very, very subtle lift off. We don't want the lift off to be aggressive down and back. We're just trying to reach as high as we can and then almost take our arm and again, bring it back. And we want our ears and our biceps to be in a straight line. I tend to see a lot of athletes, whether they lack core control or just don't understand the purpose of this exercise, they'll lift their arms all the way overhead and then they'll bring their arms, again, all the way behind their head, which puts a lot of stress on your neck and your shoulders. So I'll show you what a few good reps should look like. So you'll notice with those, again, the movement is very, very subtle. I'm not trying to aggressively push into the wall or push away from the wall. I'm also really not trying to aggressively bring my arm back behind my head. It's just a very, very subtle lift off.